Hello, my name is Sonali and I welcome you to the latest episode of Around the World in 7 Days. China's aggression in the Indo-Pacific region has garnered widespread attention, causing significant concern among neighbouring countries. In such a situation, these countries are busy forging partnerships with other countries to address the challenges posed by China. One such country experiencing strained relations with China is India. This tension had increased a lot in the year 2020 during the conflict in the Galwan Valley. On the other hand, India's security challenges have also increased due to China's aggressive stand in the Indo-Pacific. Significantly, India is strengthening its defense partnership with friendly countries in the region. Vietnam's geographical location holds a crucial position in the Indo-Pacific region, making it strategically important for India. Recognizing its importance, India decommissioned its INS Kirpan warship from the Navy and handed it over to Vietnam's army. This is the first time in history that India handed over its serving warship to any country. The transfer process was flagged off by the Indian Navy Chief Admiral Kumar and was successfully completed under his leadership. Talking about the importance of strategic partnership between India and Vietnam, the Navy Chief called it a historic moment. At the same time, he said that the transfer of INS Kirpan is a symbol of Vietnam being a preferred security partner for India in the Indo-Pacific region. This move is expected to significantly strengthen the existing bilateral relations between the navies of the two countries. But the question is, why has India handed over its fully operational warship to Vietnam? What does this mean? Is this evidence of a better partnership between India and Vietnam, or is it an attack on China? Today, in this episode, we will discuss all these questions, but first of all, let's take a look at the features of INS Kirpan. INS Kirpan is an indigenously built warship in India. It was inducted into the Indian Naval Fleet in the year 1991 and since then has been a vital part of the Eastern Fleet of the Navy. It is about 90 meters long and 10.45 meters wide. When equipped with all the accessories, its weight becomes about 1,450 tons. It has been decommissioned after 32 years of glorious service to the nation. About 100 naval personnel, including 12 officers, worked in it. The delivery of a missile-equipped warship takes on significant importance amidst growing Chinese influence in the South China Sea. Given this context, providing warships is a substantial step in the bilateral relations between India and Vietnam, especially considering the strained ties both countries have with China. The interests of both China and Vietnam are intertwined in the South China Sea. In fact, there is a rift in this region regarding Vietnam's territorial disputes and maritime boundary with China. This is the reason why Vietnam has been facing Chinese pressure for the last few years, whereas Vietnam as a country has been a close ally of India. In such a situation, the transfer of the INS Kirpan warship to Vietnam is seen as a move that holds implications regarding China. By increasing its friendship and defense partnership with India, Vietnam aims to reduce security concerns arising from China's actions. The acquisition of INS Kirpan will enhance Vietnam's strength in the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. This move is seen as a step towards balancing China's increasing military presence in the area. In this way, INS Kirpan is expected to play a crucial role in safeguarding free and open sea lanes in the region. On the other hand, India always wants that international laws should be followed in the Indo-Pacific region, so that there is no disruption in maritime trade. However, the attitude of China is against the principles of rule-based system. China is continuously increasing its presence in the Indo-Pacific Ocean, including the South China Sea. From this point of view, increasing India's cooperation with friendly countries present in these regions is a diplomatic necessity. However, there has been neither any indication nor any statement from Indian side that Vietnam has been given INS Kirpan keeping China in mind. Basically, India is strengthening relations with its East Asian partners under the Act East policy. Defense partnership with Vietnam is also part of this policy. However, it is another matter that India and Vietnam share a long history. The relationship between the two countries has its roots in the struggle for independence from colonial rule, which has been nurtured as a shared heritage by the leaders and people of both the countries. Among these, the names of President Ho Chi Minh of Vietnam, Mahatma Gandhi, and Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru comes on the top. The relationship between the two countries is also special in the fact that when ICSC, that is International Commission for Supervision and Control, was formed to facilitate the peace process in Vietnam, India was its chair. This commission was formed under the 1954 Geneva Agreement. It may be noted that India initially maintained consular-level relations with the then North Vietnam and South Vietnam. But later, on 7th January 1972, India established full diplomatic relations with the unified Vietnam. These relations had completed 50 years in January 2022. Bilateral relations between the two countries were elevated to the level of strategic partnership in July 2007 during the visit of the Prime Minister of Vietnam, Mr. Nguyen Tan Dung, to China. The relationship was further elevated to the level of comprehensive strategic partnership during the visit of Indian Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to Vietnam in 2016. These ties were further boosted by the first India-Vietnam Virtual Summit held on 21 December 2020. During this, a historic shared vision for peace, prosperity and public welfare was adopted by Prime Minister Modi and Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc. On the sidelines of this conference, the foreign ministers of the two countries also signed an action plan for the period 2021 to 23 to implement the joint approach. Apart from this, in June last year, Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh went on a visit to Vietnam. During this, he met his counterpart General Phan Van Giang. In this meeting, both sides took many important decisions. These included the finalization of a $500 million defense line of credit to Vietnam. The two countries signed an Indo-Vietnam defense partnership on joint logistics support till 2030. Along with this, an agreement was also signed on joint defense cooperation to strengthen bilateral defense cooperation. India also handed over 12 high-speed guard boats to Vietnam. In this way, Vietnam has become an important partner in India's Act East policy and Indo-Pacific vision. Vietnam has a comprehensive strategic partnership with India, despite communist countries like Russia and China in the region. In such a situation, the handing over of INS Kirpan warship to Vietnam shows India's strong naval cooperation with Vietnam. It is another matter that other interests can also be realized by this for both the countries. It is certain that in the Indo-Pacific region, INS Kirpan can prove to be helpful in dealing with China's challenge. So that's all in this discussion. See you in the next episode. But before leaving, let's note down a practice question based on today's coverage. Recently, India has gifted its serving INS Kirpan warship to Vietnam. What are its implications? Explain.